TikTok, it's time to rock. It's your fortnightly fix of Van Halen things from down under. It's our contribution for the Van Halen community that we're here fortnightly with these awesome guys. It's my pleasure to introduce the 5150s. My name is Andrew from Hamilton, New Zealand. On the top tier, we have all the way from Melbourne, Brad, 5150. And down on the bottom, holding us up with his with his wisdom and strength, is we're going to have to rename him Hoss 5150. But welcome, brothers.
Sure, why not?
Hoss 5150. But it's my pleasure to be here with you guys. We've got some great songs and topics to talk about. Hoss has got some great news. Brad, what's been happening, brother?
Look, it's been a busy week, but I've been really looking forward to catching up with you two gentlemen, fine gentlemen. Always good to see you guys smiling on the other side of the screen, and I'm really looking forward to these songs because some of these songs are in my opinion, some of the greatest things that Van Halen did in the later periods, you know. So I'm really excited. Yeah. How about yourself, Hoss? How's things been going for yourself?
Yeah, things have been going good for me. Sort of a busy week in the studio, and a couple of other things which I'll share a bit later that I've been sort of thrown into the deep end at the last second. So, but it's been fun, and it was a pretty good busy week actually. Yeah.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. I'm lucky that I've got some snips here, and Hoss is going to give us a bit of an idea when we can play. Well, show them in preparation for some news that he's got. So you know, sure. we're excited. We're genuinely excited because it's going to be good for the channel, good for Van Halen fans, and Brad and Hoss is part of the world, and great for Van Halen fans internationally too.
Yeah, 100%. Before we get too heavily into it, let's do a bit of a shout out to our good friend Warren. So Warren, mate, when you're watching this back, and all of our prayers and thoughts are with you, buddy. So stay strong, and we look forward to seeing you online soon. I noticed you liked one of my Instagram things the other day, so it was a really exciting moment for me to see that you acknowledged one of my posts. So hopefully we see you online soon. Andrew.
Awesome, bro, and that's very good because Warren was a very, very good friend to the channel. He helps us in so many ways. He supports our channel. He sends a monthly subscription for our YouTube and for our StreamYards subscription. But also we have to do a special shout out to our Brazilian Portuguese translator for the shows that we do, Teresa. So most of you people here in the chat will be familiar with Teresa. She was involved in a car accident a couple of days ago. She's fine. She's okay. But obviously anybody that we know that's involved in things like that, we send good thoughts and good wishes and hope that she gets back up and running and active as she always is.
Yeah, that's sorry to hear that, Teresa. So if you're watching this, definitely sending all my love as well, and I hope you have a speedy recovery. So yeah, absolutely. Teresa is always on the show.
Always, brother. Always.
Yeah.
And you know, that's really important. That's really important that we're attracting for various reasons, you know, people from around the world, because that's one of the greatest things, isn't it, about music, and the music especially that we love and that we want to share. It's about building that community, and we're part of it, guys. So I take my hat off to Hoss and to Brad for being part of that. Here, this is our little contribution to that. In all our planning, guys, we didn't decide who was going to do the shout outs. So you two guys, between the two of you, decide who's going to do the beginning shout outs and who's going to do the end shout outs.
You go first, Brad. Go for it.
All right. So we've got a few early birds in the chat here. Some dude named Simon Hosford. I think we have to kick him out, Drew. Kick him out.
Yeah.
Christine. We've got my mother Ellen is in the chat. Some dude called 5150, you know, he's 5150 show, British Electric Blues show. He's got to go, Simon. All right. So and there's a fair few more people coming into the chat now. So put little comments in there and we'll acknowledge them as we're going along as well. We love, the feedback and your comments. We, sometimes we get indulgent and we're on a path, but we always look at the chat as well. So make sure you acknowledge it.
Absolutely. We'll do the best that we can. And obviously, guys, we're streaming on a couple of platforms. We're streaming on our Twitter account. So if anybody is watching from Twitter and wants to say hi, please do. We're streaming on our 5150 Show Facebook group and the British Electric Blues Facebook group. So we're over there. Say hi. If there's any social media accounts that you want us to push here on our channel, just fire them through to Hoss or Brad or myself. We're happy to include any social media pushes. It's the least we can do. All subs to our channels get immediate subs back, so we're happy to do that. We've got a goal. We'd love to have 800 subs by Christmas, guys. So if you guys can help us by sharing our channel, we'd love it. And you just get a great big thanks from us all. We've got some people jumping into the chat too, guys. So later on, Brad might be able to go through and say hi to you guys. But I've got a couple of questions.
I was just going to say, if I can jump in really quickly and do a shout out to Joe Occhipinti, who is the genius that works on all my guitars and is also the guy that fixed the Kramer 5150 Neil Daly headstock. So shout out to Joe. And not only that, is he a talented boy, but he is one of the sweetest human beings that you will ever meet. He is an above and beyond kind of guy. So thanks, Joe, for joining.
Hey, Joe. Awesome, brother. Thank you for hanging out with us. It's a pleasure.
Yeah. I was about to go, hey, Joe, where you going with that guitar in your hand?
Yeah. There you go. Hey, Hugh.
Yeah, g'day, Hugh. No, look, it's a pleasure hanging out with you guys. And look, I've got to tell you guys something. Going through these songs this week, there's one thing I want to say to you. Boy, it's brought a big smile to my face, these songs, because some of these songs I haven't heard in a long, long time. And despite the backstory on a lot of these songs, so a lot of, the information we get now is on some of these books that have been, published in commemoration of Eddie's passing, and there's a couple of more coming, Hoss. But especially, the backstory, I suppose, I've put to one side because I think over the last 5 years, I've allowed the backstories on some of these eras to affect the way I've been listening to the music. But I purposely kept that aside and just focused on the music. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys. Hoss, you got an opinion on that?
Yeah, look, I feel exactly the same way you do. I mean, some of these, what people might think of as the extra tracks, I haven't really listened to properly for a long time either. And when they came out, I was so colored by whatever my feelings were for what was going on in the band at the time, and sometimes it was something I was ecstatic about, and sometimes it was something that I was a bit ambivalent about. And so I think as much as you try and listen to music with an objective ear, it's really hard sometimes because, of course, music is an emotion. And, I think that especially when it's a band that we love so dearly, it's very hard to listen with an unbiased lens sometimes, So anyway, but back to your point, Andrew, that having this last week to really revisit some of these songs and really listen a lot more attentively than I would have back in the day, was great actually. And I developed a new appreciation for some of them, 100%.
Yeah, look, I agree with both of you guys. At the time when they came out, all the backstories and everything that were going on within the band and the turmoil for whatever reasons that were going on, it sort of colored the songs a little bit and tarnished them in a sense for me for a little while.
Sure.
But I guess over the last, fair few years, 3, 5, whatever years, and especially in the last 12 months since Ed's passing, that sort of stuff isn't relevant to me anymore. And I'm just listening to the music and to revisit some of these songs. And there's so much magic in a lot of these songs that just, with the analyzing of these tracks and the way we rank them and stuff like that, there were just some really, really beautiful moments in there. Musically, sonically, guitar-wise, just amazing. Yeah, they were such an amazing outfit, regardless of the lineup changes and everything like that. There's some really wonderful material here.
Yeah,
it kind of freaked me out. A couple of these songs because I wasn't aware of the technical side behind some of these songs. So I look forward to obviously hearing what you guys have to say because you know sometimes you can hear something and your ears are pretty good, Hoss, but you don't know everything, because your ears can also play tricks on you too. And then you go and read something and you find out, my gosh, this song's got 7 guitar layers through it. And it's going, oh, no wonder. So again, if our show and our rankings can help people appreciate these extra tracks, a little bit, I suppose we've done our job. But like we've always said, though, Hoss and Brad, we're just fans. So we're just hanging out. We're just fans talking about great music, guys.
That's right. That's exactly right. And, if by us having to go back and listen to them with a more actually critical ear isn't exactly the right expression. It's a more probably objective ear, a more understanding ear with the context now, with history behind us and maybe like some of the hyped emotions that we felt like, 20 years ago when the band was going through different changes and stuff. We can let those go now and just hear them for the songs that they are. I mean, if by discussing it, that maybe helps some other people look at these songs through a different lens too, then I agree, Andrew. Then that's what we're here to do today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those great things, isn't it? History. We love the books. The books are always going to give us that backstory, and we love that too.
Yeah,
we love the backstory, but the ranking of the tracks is a little bit different. Even though I've got some backstory stuff to throw in there that kind of again freaked me out that I didn't know. So, it's again we keep saying it, guys. You can be aware of something, but then you read something and analyze it and understand it, and then Brad's done a few shows, Hoss, with me. We've spoken about albums that I've listened to. And I go, oh, I've never picked that up. You go and listen to it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's right. By the three of us kind of throwing it around, I'm sure you guys are going to have feelings about the songs or parts of the songs and hear things in them that I don't hear and vice versa. So it's awesome. You kind of, all of us take our different colors that we hear it and make the rainbow as one thing,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, listen, Andrew, just while you're talking about books, I actually purchased a book this week and I would like to just share with you guys. I just got a copy of this.
Oh, yeah, baby. Beautiful.
Oh.
Beautiful.
This is Paul Brannigan's book, Eruption. So I haven't read anything in it yet, but I literally just got this yesterday. So, yeah.
That's not far away for me. So yeah, mate. That's fantastic. That's a good book. Yeah,
I've got a bit of light reading here over Christmas, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you mean? What do you mean over Christmas? You've got to read all that by the next 5150 show, bro.
That's exactly
okay.
Right.
Hey.
Well, that's my challenge, mate. That's my challenge.
You know the workload you get here, mate. It's an unbearable workload, bro.
Mate, you're a slave grinder, Andrew. I can tell you that. I don't even get time to change my guitar strings properly. I've got to do.
Oh, you guys. Hey, we've got a couple of cats jumping in the chat. We've got Hayden Crone. Thank you, Hayden, for jumping in. It's forgive me, Hayden, if you've been here before. I'm pretty good, but I can't remember you. So tell us where you're from, Hayden. Hit that sub button. Hoss, you've got the pleasure. Brad.
Yeah.
Brad has pulled the short straw to go first with with the tracks. Do you want to kick it off? Before you do that, bro, I want to do another shout out. We've got Bent Tom in here from Halenville. G'day, brother. Nice to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Always watch Halenville. And I'll show a card here. We've got a Nightbot that has Halenville's stream. So if you guys haven't checked out Halenville, please do. Good friends of the channel. Those boys over there, they love EVH too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes. we're friends of everyone. So, it's great to see you guys jump in. So, Hoss, did you want to talk about what you've been up to before we get into the tracks, or you want to do that a bit later?
Well, I'm happy to, if you like, or we could do a few tracks and then take a wee break, and I'll discuss what I've been up to during the week, and then we can get back into the tracks. Maybe we should do it that way.
Yeah, we'll have
like a good plan.
Great.
Yeah.
Have a visual intermission.
Visual intermission. There you go. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, all right. Well, I mean, look, guys, the first one on the list that these are in no particular order, but some of them sort of work out in order a little bit. Me Wise Magic. Look, this was released on the Best of Volume 1, and I believe the release date was October 1996. It was recorded in July to August in 96 at 5150 Studios. It's well known that Ed and Dave had been in conversations about this compilation, and I think Ed invited Dave to sing on a couple of songs. And the first one that Dave recorded was this song in particular with the band in 96. David didn't like the song at first. He changed his mind, though, after reviewing the rest of the songs that were prepared as well. So I'm not sure whether that says a good or a bad thing, but it worked out, in my opinion, to be a great thing, because I absolutely love this song.
Yeah.
It's recorded. The recording for this ran like I think it was from my understanding, it took place in 96, and it was the mixing was done on the 8th of the 5th, 96. So the title was taken from a racehorse of the same name. The videos were scheduled for the new Roth songs, but were scrapped. Meanwhile, Magic was actually started, and shortly after there, it was axed. So, and that
I did not know that.
Probably fell in line with what was happening internally. So, which, we don't want to sort of go on about the negative aspect too much, because it's a fantastic song and I don't want to take away from it. Look, apparently the video for Me Wise Magic was to have a concept which involved like voodoo rituals. Probably a very Dave thing, The song was leaked to radio stations in, I think, March 96, and officially released to the radio in July 96, 4 days after David Lee Roth's open letter to the public condemning the reunion. So Edward apparently used a prototype Wolfgang on the song, and it was fitted with a trans-trem tremolo, which is similar to what was on the Steinberger guitars.
And you can really hear that, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah. And sustainer at the end of the track. So I absolutely love the intro of this song. Like, I could listen to this over and over and over just for the intro alone. I love the verses, how they swagger along. It's got that real sleazy sort of vibe to it. Lyrically, I really enjoyed Dave's lyrics on this. It just this, for me, it's the perfect reconnection with Dave. Considering where you look at where Ed was evolving to and where it got to, and then musically they just sort of met again. It was like really magical, in my opinion. I love the feel of the song. The pre-choruses are just catchy. The chorus is catchy. The bridge section is cool. The solo jumps out. There's some great bass playing, the guitar playing at the end of the solo where they're playing together. I love the outro. Look, I have to Brad score it. It's like a 10 out of 10. It's never a skip for me. Hoss.
Yeah. Thanks for some of that background. I didn't actually know that. And I didn't know that. I've always wondered how they came up with the name for the title. But if it's named after a racehorse, that makes perfect sense, because it sounds exactly like what those strange kind of racehorse names, I really like the song. Honestly, it took me a few listens when it first came out. And I guess that's just because each section of the song is quite different, And I like the intro too, especially because it was something new and with Roth. And that little kind of ostinato pattern in the intro that rolls round and round is kind of got that spooky sort of thing where you just have no idea the first time you hear where it's going to go. And then how it settles into that groove is with those kind of almost chanty verse vocals is really, really cool. You know, the song reminds me, I don't know if this will make sense to anyone. I feel like it doesn't sound the same in terms of its tempo or anything like that, but I feel like it's got the vibe of a cross between like Somebody Get Me a Doctor and Girl Gone Bad. It reminds me of the energy of those kind of songs, you know? Like the chorus, especially, you know, you've got those backing vocal notes that just hold over, like that. That just totally reminds me of a slightly slower Girl Gone Bad kind of vibe, you know?
But that's the great part of the song. That's fantastic when when they're holding that note. I love it.
Yeah, I like it too. Although I will say, like in the outro, they go around and around so many times, and because they go for the full 4 bars and there's kind of no breath, that plus Eddie's sustainer at the end and everything, my ears actually kind of grow tired of it. I feel like they could have let it breathe a bit more. But look, it's great. It's got its own vibe. Hearing Roth, you know, back in the band doing his thing is obviously awesome. And I remember like honestly, they could have probably put out just about anything back then, and I would have just been ecstatic, you know. But yeah, it's a good song. I feel like Roth is singing really, really good on it too. I've heard some other people say that. I really feel like with some of the songs he did back with the band in that era, he really brought his A game vocally, you know. So yeah, I really like it. What else about it can I say? You know, I will say this. I feel like the song is quite strong, but I'm actually not a huge fan of the mix and the production of it. I feel like I hear it in a way that where they could have maybe almost made it more like, you know, like how the band were, their recordings on the Fair Warning era and stuff were essentially like live recordings, right? I feel like they could have done that with Me Wise Magic, and it would have had maybe like a little bit more vibe or something. Just, I can't really explain it, but it's just the way that Roth sings it and those kind of parts and Alex's drum beat, I just feel like that lend themselves really well to, if they had at least recorded the rhythm section and Roth's main vocal live and then maybe done some overdubs, I think to me it would have had that more kind of loose jammy thing that would have really suited the song. And yeah, Brad, you were mentioning before about Eddie's prototype guitar. I'm going to say something kind of that I never really thought I would say about Eddie, but I really, really don't like his guitar sound on this one song. I don't know what he used, but it sounds to me like he's almost using a headphone amp, you know? So, yeah, sorry everyone, but it's one of the one songs out of his whole career where I just listen to it and I go, man, what is that? Is that like a Zoom or something? Like, I just can't figure it out. So I don't know if anyone actually knows what he used, but it's probably my least favorite Eddie guitar sound of all his different incarnations of sounds. But I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Ooh,
No, that's actually pretty good for me. Yeah.
I know.
Pretty good for me. Because the songs that are 10s to me are like my favorite ever. So I just sort of try and work it back from there. But you know, like if I had have liked his guitar sound better, and maybe I thought like maybe the mix and production was a bit better, then it would easily be more than that. But look, yeah, a solid 7.5. It's not a shaky 7.5, you know.
No, it's all good, and we appreciate the fact that you're bringing your perspective and your ear to the 5150 show rankings. But you know, expect a bit of a elbow every now and again, brother. That's what we do here.
Hey, it'd be no fun if we all had exactly the same score, would it? It'd be no fun. So, you know.
Well, no. Yeah.
And I have to say one thing, Hoss, you know, just be careful because Andrew will time you out quicker than you can say I'm sorry. Okay.
Why is he going to tell you what?
He'll time you out quicker than you can say I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll definitely be careful. I promise.
No, we want honesty and sincerity here, guys, because that's one of the great things about what we do here with the rankings. And look, you guys have blown me away. I did not know a couple of those things. I've made a note here. What could have been? Hoss, you mentioned something that was remarkable about the quality of David Lee Roth's vocals. When I got the CD and listened through all these songs that we'd known, and it was all this on this compilation, it was just fantastic. And then we get to these new songs, and it was like, my gosh, David Lee Roth is sounding really, really good. And like all Van Halen fans, we were excited, weren't we? We were just thought, wow, we're going to go into another chapter. And look what happened. You know, it didn't happen. I've loved listening to the song, guys. I've loved listening to the song over the last week. That wah wah solo just does it for me. I think I just love the fact that he's on a wah. It just brings out this other aspect to Eddie that I love. My notes, guys, you know, one of the great things about the song is you got that loud, clear drum sound by Alex. The drumming in the pre-chorus is amazing, and then he uses those ride grooves in the chorus, which is just fantastic.
Yeah.
It was just a completely different sound in '96 to what was happening on anything we were listening to, and I'm glad we've done the drumming show. If you guys haven't checked out the drumming show that we've had here, Hoss managed to get one of Australia's premier drummers on with us, and we deep dived into Alex Van Halen. Go and check out the channel. We've got that somewhere. I'm going to attach that somewhere if you're watching the replay, because Jerry just unpacked some great stuff for us there. And I've been tinged by that ever since, Hoss and Brad. You know, and I'm not a drummer's bum. So, but look, the drumming on this song just especially captures me. And because of that, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. It's never a skip. And what could have been? Brad.
I'm really glad that we're all got sort of different perspectives on the song. But the one thing that was really clear is the three of us, when you're listening to it, what could have been, exactly what you said, Andrew. Like, if they continued without the conflicts, I'll put it nicely, the conflicts, it could have been a rebirth of that Roth era, and moving forward with Ed's progression as a musician, and the songwriting changed, and it could have been something that evolved into something that was quite magical as well. But, you know, I'm just grateful in a sense that we got those two songs with Roth again, and then later, obviously, with a different kind of truth. But for me, that's, you know, that was like the reconnecting of the original lineup of Van Halen, you know, with Michael Anthony on bass, with whom I think is a really integral part of Van Halen, a big part. So, so we're up to the next track, which we've got on our list, which is Can't Stuff No More.
If you don't mind, just quickly before we move on from that, I just wanted to quickly mention that odd kind of little outro at the end of it. Like, I wanted to get your thoughts on that, because to me, that kind of feels almost like it, mood-wise, like it's just almost belongs to a different song, you know?
Well, there's something, Hoss, that I'll mention in one of the other songs is exactly that point, that there's certain parts of the song, including the endings, that could also be almost made into another song. So in a sense, like, it goes somewhere and it feels like it's getting, you know, it just disappears, where it's like, that sounds really cool. I don't know. Look, to me, sometimes I think they should have left those parts and made another song out of it. But maybe the similarity or the contrast is too close, so they just threw it at the end of the song. So that, I don't know. I mean, and sometimes Ed was trying to be a little bit different too. So he'd write a song and then might have had all these little other parts for the song. I'll just throw it at the outro. So that's how I think that it may have been. So what do you think,
hey, John?
Drew?
You've caught me off guard. I'm going to have to go back and re-listen to it. But I can't consciously remember, guys. So I'm just going to go with what you guys have said.
Yeah, that's all right. No worries, dear. John Conklin's got it 9/8 time exactly. So it's just one of those. What Brad was saying, really, you know, it's one of those things that they sometimes would tack on the end of a song. You know, they used to do it on the early albums all the time. You know. TJ saying, what's that, Andrew? The fact that Van Halen, Exactly. Yeah, it's like one of those, I guess the culinary equivalent would be like if you make like a lamb roast and there's always the gravy at the end that you've got the crusty bread and you're mopping it up on the plate. That's like the bit at the end of the song. They're like, no, don't forget the gravy and the bread,
Now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it is the weekend, so yeah, look, I like it. I'm not actually saying that I don't like it. It's just one of those things that it's almost like growth, or one of those kind of things that they used to do. And who knows, maybe in a way that's because it had Roth on it. It really, having that leftover at the end is a kind of a hark back to those earlier records where they did used to do that all the time. And so I think for the diehard fans, it almost was like a time capsule then, It was like, yes, that's what they used to do. They didn't finish it like a corporate 80s band, So, yeah.
No, good point. Good point.
Sorry, Brad. I just wanted to mention that before we moved on. My bad.
Well, no, I'm glad you did, Hoss, because in my notes, it's like you bloody read my notes or something, mate. That's the Aussie thing. Yeah.
I did steal your notes.
Yeah, well, I shouldn't have read them out to you.
No, that's right.
No, so at the end of this song, I'll explain exactly what you pretty much you've already touched on there, Hoss. Anyway, so Can't Get This Stuff Anymore obviously came out on the Best of Volume 1. I think Glenn Ballard came up with the concept for this song.
Did he? Yeah, right.
Second song David Lee Roth recorded with Van Halen for this Best of compilation. The song features the first ever appearance of a talk box on a Van Halen record, and apparently it was run by guitar tech Matt Bruck. So Ed's been quoted as saying that when he tried to use it, it sounded too much like a wah. So, and I also have read, I don't really know if this makes sense or what, but that it was too big for his mouth. But, I don't think that that's something that I believe. But the music for this track was originally recorded as a song called Backdoor Shuffle.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Apparently it was recorded for the Balance album, and it features new lyrics by Roth. So there's some beautiful, lush guitar parts in the intro of this song. It's got a great feel when the drums come in. The verses are kicked back. There's a lot of swing in this one. The BVs are cool in the pre-choruses and chorus. It's got a really cool solo. That talk box vibe, it's really unique. But I absolutely love the solo once the talk box kicks out of it and he just starts playing like, I don't know, I can't sort of pinpoint it. Maybe Hoss, you might be able to at a song, but the guitar phrasing, there's something there like some from 1984 era for me. It's quite really unique, and I hadn't heard Ed play like that for a long time. And it really excited me to listen to it again because it's been a little while since I've listened to this song. The outro is really lush, and even like what you're saying, it could have almost been another song, that outro. For me, I gave this song a 10 out of 10. The two Roth songs on the Best of here for me, probably not necessarily the best sound-wise for me, because I kind of agree with you a little bit, Hoss, with certain things with the guitar sounds. But in context of what was happening at the time, I think they couldn't have got any better out of either side of it with the Van Halen and Roth together. That was the best they were going to do. And I love it. So 10 out of 10 from me. Okay.
And were you saying, brother, that Glenn Ballard produced this or something? Or
he came up with the concept for this song apparently, and I don't know how involved he was, but I know Glenn Ballard was quite a big producer at the time, so maybe he had something to do with it.
Well, for anyone that also doesn't know much about him, I mean, he's done lots of things, but one of his big claims to fame was that he co-wrote and produced the Alanis Morissette Jagged Little Pill record. And worked pretty closely with her on that. They were pretty tight, apparently, when working on that. And this is another one of those songs that's got like the little, what we call like the leftovers outro kind of vibe, right? I think with Me Box Magic, I was probably a bit harsh because really that outro is kind of the same as the intro. So that kind of makes sense. They're kind of bookending the song. And like we talked about with Me Wise, that intro is a vibe. You know, someone was saying, was it TJ or John Conklin in the chat was saying, you know, that's the original OG lineup. And so having that kind of intro where you don't know where it's going to go is a cool thing. And then so bookending the end of the song with the same thing as the intro, which only happened that one time, makes sense. But with this song, the outros, it never happens during the song. Like it's its own weird kind of, and again, like an odd time kind of feel, you know, and much darker. Like the song's a pretty happy, kind of bright sounding song, but the that outro's got its own complete vibe. Do you guys feel that about this one?
Yeah, it could have been more.
That one almost does make me think of like when they did, what did they call it? Is it Growth? You know, when they did dun, 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 they did that at the end of what song was that at the end of? I forget. You guys know? Was it? It was something off Van Halen 2, right? I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We've
just
got
can't.
Alan and John in the chat; they'll know, and Bent. So someone in the chat will remind us. I can't recall immediately.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Not normally I'm all over that stuff, but I'm just mind farting. So yes, if someone in the chat knows what that little Growth leftover thing at the end was on the back of, that'd be good. But
Hey guys, we've got Fruitcake Tony in the chat too. Sorry for interrupting. G'day, Fruitcake. Thank you, brother.
No, never apologize for interrupting when Fruitcake Tony's in the chat.
Yeah.
Awesome. You know, do you guys know, so lyrically, I used to think before I kind of really read the lyrics and looked at the lyrics that, and maybe I thought this because of the video clip a little bit as well, but I used to think it was referring a little bit to how like, this is how rock and roll used to be, and this is how we used to be, because, you know, Roth is singing as a band, so you can't get this stuff no more, you know. There he is, the Halenville picks. Hey, where's my Halenville picks?
You got to get tougher. No, I'm joking.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, sorry, what was I saying? I was saying about, I used to think the lyrics were kind of about maybe how like musically in rock and how as a band that about the heyday and that you can't get this stuff no more. But actually, when you look at them, it doesn't really seem to me that it is about that. It kind of seems like sort of more surface level. And, you know, the first verse, he's talking about a date with a model and all of this. And then I get the feeling by looking at the lyrics a bit more closely that he's talking about that truth is a hard commodity to come by these days, and that everyone's sort of fake, you know, and it's hard. So I don't know whether you guys have a better read than me on that, or if anyone in the chat does, but I always used to think they were actually Bent Tom talking about simple rhyme. I agree. And actually, if you listen to the verse, not just the guitars and the beat, but also the way Roth sings some of those phrases, I actually think it's based on Secrets, because it's got that da 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 da, and then the way it is going is like the bridge in Secrets. You know how sometimes it's very, very close to Secrets, that verse, you know. And even the way he takes that D shape and moves it up 2 frets and back is exactly the bridge in Secrets, you know. But which is not to say that that was deliberate, but I just think it's interesting. And I think that's also what really helps for the diehards, hearing Roth's voice, but also hearing a groove and a kind of a framework to a verse that is reminiscent of another song is just instantly plugs into the heartstrings of fans, you know? Yeah. So whether it was by default or by design, I think it's really clever. And, you know, the chorus is a good vibe. I like that kind of Peter Frampton vibe, talk box thing. As like you were saying, we've never really heard that from Ed. And it sounds cool, you know, and it totally reminds me of, you know, Frampton Comes Alive record. And which I love actually, and I've listened to that record a lot, and so it gives me that cool sort of live outdoor feeling to it. But yeah, I really dig it. Actually, you know, it's another song where obviously in the same era, Roth is singing great on this. In fact, I would say that towards the end of the song, he's going up and hitting notes. I have never heard Roth hit in chest voice like that. I don't know if you guys can hear the ones I'm meaning, but he almost sounds like Graham Bonnet, you know, when he goes up that high. And I've never really heard him sing like that. And man, he's killing it. You know, he was never really known for his range in the way that Sammy was, but honestly, in that song, he's hitting notes that like Sammy would hit, you know. So I just think that he was probably enthusiastic, he was probably in shape, and he was vibed, and you can hear it in that recording. So yeah, I'm going to give that an 8. That's an 8 for me.
Beautiful. Andrew.
Awesome, bro. Kelly, thank you for joining us. EBMMEVH, thank you for jumping in. Alan Garber, the professor, thank you, brother, for joining us. If I've missed anybody, Fruitcake Tony and John, always a pleasure to have the Halenville boys hang out with us too. So if you guys haven't checked out Halenville, I'll put a link up soon. Go and check them out and give them a follow. Always happy to have those guys here. You know, one of the burdens, guys, of doing these shows, one of the crosses that you have to bear is going last. And it's my turn to go last. So I'm just going to reiterate everything that my co-hosts have said. But there's a couple of things that I just want to emphasize. Backdoor Shuffle. If they recorded that with Sammy, I would love to hear that. I can't wait. And like all Van Halen fans, we're chomping at the bit for some re-release stuff, you know, or some unreleased stuff coming out eventually when we're old and grey. Hopefully we're going to get it, but I'd love to hear that version. Kind of surprised me too, guys, when I did some research. Had no idea that they'd recorded that. So Brad hit the nail on the head there. Apparently Sammy got $35,000 and a check sent to him because of that, you know, because they had to make sure that business side of things was done. And, you know, Sammy didn't continue with it, which is a great thing. The talk box, as Hoss mentioned, is great. You know, if you love 70s classic rock like we all do, it's a heart back. It's a heart back to this great time, the power of rock and roll. And boy, we were going to get something from this band, weren't we? For 30 seconds, for 30 minutes, we were dreaming about something happening. And one last thing, apparently, too, this was the last recorded song by the original Van Halen guys while they were still alive. So this song has a special emphasis, I suppose. Look, I have to give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's not quite a 10, but I do agree with the sophistication of the lyrics, Hoss. There are some sophisticated lyrics there. Yep. And we can talk about some of the lyrics and some of the other songs that we're going to rank on this show, but the lyrics on this song especially, magic.
I agree. And it's entirely possible that, I mean, one of the things that we always fall into the trap of as human beings is we always think things have to be one thing or the other. It's entirely possible that the lyrics were meant to be a double meaning, like all great songs, and it could be simply about that the truth is something that you can't really get anymore, but also the truth of how music used to be and how they used to be as a band. And I think, like what you were just saying, Andrew, isn't it funny that sort of in some ways was a promise of things that never happened, and the song's called Can't Get This Stuff No More, you know? I mean, it's sort of fateful, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. And the universe works in mysterious ways, as we all know. And I think it's no accident that happens to be the title of the song. Whether the band knew it at the time they wrote it or not, that's how it ended up being. That was how history would play it out. So, yeah, really interesting. But that's why, I mean, those two songs especially that we just talked about have got a very special place for everybody, I think, for that reason, you know? Yeah.
Good points. Yeah, well, guys, I'm going to throw a spanner and we're going to go to Crossing Over, which is on the Japanese release of Balance, and was recorded, was actually included as a B-side to Can't Stop Loving You, the single. Ed wrote and recorded this song, some of the song, back in 1983 after one of his friends committed suicide. It was revived after the death of their longtime band manager, Ed Leffler. Ed recorded parts including playing drums and singing. The rest of the song was recorded in 94. Ed's music is on the left channel, Al's drumming and Sammy's singing are in the right channel. And I think that works wonderfully. Sammy really loved this song and wanted to remove Take Me Back, Deja Vu from balance and put Crossing Over in its place. I don't necessarily agree with that 100%, but I do believe Crossing Over should have had a firm place in the record without it just being an exclusive Japanese release, because it's a fantastic song. I love the intro, that panning guitar thing. Hoss, you being a producer and whatnot might be able to enlighten us how they managed to do that. It's really great. It's got some intense vibes. There's some fantastic guitar work in it. I love the overdub drums. The drums work together. It's quite a unique thing the way they've done it. It's very percussive, and the vocals are fantastic. I love the harmonies. Almost sounds like a demo at time, but guys, I think that's a great thing, because that's what I like about it. There's like a rawness to it. It really hits home. Look, over the amount of times I listened to it this week, I initially ranked it 8 out of 10, but I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 because I love this song. And if anyone in the chat or anyone watching this back has lost a friend due to the black dog, what I call the black dog, there's a lot of depth to this song for you, and it's a deep and meaningful song. It's very raw. So 9 out of 10 for me, and never a skip. Hoss.
Okay. Well, Brad, on this one, you and I are going to differ a little bit. I think, well, firstly, let's talk about some of those production things you mentioned, right? Because that panning guitar is like a tremolo, but panning from left to right, which is a really cool sound. And it was interesting to hear you talk about how you got separate drums on the left and the right, because that was when I was listening to that. When I first heard that, I never listened to it with headphones. And during this week, I put headphones on and listened to it, and I could really hear all that stuff that was clearly very deliberate, because you've got the panning tremolo guitar, then you've got panned drums. You've even got pan BVs, like some of the BVs are only in the left speaker, and then you've got completely different BVs in the right speaker. I actually had an idea that maybe what they were trying to achieve was an oral version of the idea of crossing over from one side to the other, so you've got your two different speakers. And that might be wrong. I haven't read that anywhere, so I don't know, but it feels logical to me that it was such a, an obvious choice with the panning on pretty much every single element of the production, that to me, I thought, it would make sense if they thought, let's try and make a soundscape that's kind of like the crossing over of one place to the next, or this life to the afterlife. We'll do it from the left speaker to the right speaker, Unfortunately, though, for me, I don't really feel like I get sort of hit emotionally until that section at the end where he comes in with those beautiful harmony guitar melodies. Yeah. And to me, that's the hook of the song right there. Like, that's the bit that sometimes I even wake up in the morning, just hearing that melody, and I think for a second, what's that? That's really beautiful, and then I realize, it's the guitar melodies in Crossing Over. And but for me personally, that's so good. It's such gold. It just takes too long to get there for me, which might be all intentional. So this is not really a judgment on their sincerity when they were writing the song and producing it. But look, maybe for my taste, like, even if they had that earlier in the song and then gone through the song as we know it and then finished again with it, it might have like hooked me in a bit earlier. But that's my thing. So, but look, the production on it is really clever. I think the way and the intent with which it was written is gorgeous. But my favorite part is definitely all those beautiful harmony guitars that kind of go minor and then to major at the end. it's almost kind of Middle Eastern sounding, but actually to me it almost sounds otherworldly sounding, which is even more perfect, you know, because of the meaning of the song. But for me, because only that one bit is the bit that I really love, I can only give it a 6. Sorry. Sorry.
Oh, okay. No. Okay, it's okay. You're still here, Hoss. You still got a job.
We haven't got to the other songs yet. Maybe I won't have a job.
Oh, guys, I'm just going to do a quick shout out. We got Chris Wheelton in the chat. Leo Staffco's in here. Our good friend Nelson's jumped in to say hello. And I think there was someone else that popped in while we were gas bagging. Keith Campbell. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. Had 32 people watching. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Share our channel with your friends. Guys, I'm going to tell you something a little bit about the song that changed my mind in the course of doing some research in the course of the week. So Brad's right. You know, this song has roots back to 83. In 85, Sammy tried to do something with it. But Eddie said, no, we're not going to do something with it, you know, and they brought it back and they did it, you know, 10 years later. And the reason being apparently with Ed Leffler passing, Eddie's father passing, the big question always comes to us, you know, what happens when we pass? What happens after this life? Big questions. So obviously that was something that Eddie was negotiating. So it was an opportune time for him to bring this song back for him, because, you know, the song was about a friend of his. So we always understand that, don't we? So this personal thing that Eddie had, he was able to give to us as fans to listen to. And you know, besides the music, Hoss, and that's all great. You know, the music's fantastic because of that story, because it mattered so much to Ed. I've got to give it a 10 out of 10. Because of that, because that's just what matters to me for this song, guys.
Fair, absolutely fair enough. And anyone coming at a song with more background knowledge of the way it was conceived and the way that the love that was put into it, of course, it always changes it. It just happened that when I first heard that, I didn't know any of those things, so I was listening to it just purely as the piece of music, you know. But But I think as a song, for all those reasons that the three of us had just talked about, it absolutely stands up on its own. You know, it's great.
Hey, Johnny.
Well, it's interesting to hear both perspectives because you know, the three of us are sort of agreeing on certain things, but like Hoss, you've seen it from more of a producer songwriter element as well, and that's really good because sometimes, you know, you're disconnecting that side of it, that emotive side, but you listen to it as a song. So I understand your ranking and I understand yours too, Andrew. And for me, like I said, it was 9.5. So, but there's more of an emotional connection for me with that song when I listen to the lyrics.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why. Hey guys, I think this is an awesome opportunity and time to present some of the stuff that Hoss has been doing this week.
Oh yeah, wake the producer up. Wake that producer up. We've got Chris in the chat who got a 5150 pick. Chris is another Kiwi, so good to see you, brother. Thank you for that.
While you're doing that, Andrew, give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, well, while he's doing that, then I'm going to. Where are we? I'm going to. Have I got the video still? I'm going to play. Hold on. I'm going to play Chris's video. If Chris is still here, hold on.
There I am, Chris. Send me an email. Send me your address. But there is one thing, though, that you have to do. I want you to do a quick 10-second video unboxing and email it back to me so we can play it on our YouTube channel, please. 10 seconds. That's all we need. All right. I'm signing off.
That's awesome. I missed the start of that. Can you? What was I watching there?
So Chris is a fellow Kiwi, and a couple of weeks ago he got a pick, a 5150 show pick. We sent it to him, and we said to him, "Bro, whatever you do, can you just do an unboxing?" He said, "Yeah, no problem." So he did a video. So that video is uploaded on our community page if you guys haven't seen that. So if you guys do anything like that, you know, we're going to put it up on our community page. Happy to do that. Of course, that's if you want to go public with that kind of stuff. But yeah, we were just waiting for him to jump in, Hoss, so that we could just air it live. Always happy to get feedback.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Super awesome.
Okay. So hold on, guys. So I'm going to flick up some pics. Am I? Is that what you want to do?
Why don't I do a little bit of a, I'll do a bit of an explanation, and then you can throw up some of the pics for sure.
Yeah, sure, no problem, brother.
Great. So, so during the week, I had the good fortune of being offered a bit of a quick throw together promo opportunity for the celebration of Eddie Van Halen's birthday that we're doing on the 25th of January here at the Corner Hotel in Melbourne. It's actually really been the first opportunity since COVID for us in Melbourne to all get together. And Glenn Falloon of Chrome Productions. So for anyone, by the way, a massive shout out to Glenn Falloon, because he offered me an opportunity which we had to sort of grab by the balls pretty quickly and scramble it together because he had, like a lighting and a stage set up ready to go that was just about to be pulled down. And he said, if you can get the fellas together really fast and, do anything, we can do a bit of a promo for the Corner Hotel show in January. And for anyone that doesn't know, Glenn Falloon is actually our lighting designer for that show at the Corner Hotel. So it was perfect. Anyway, so we scrambled it together and at the last minute got up to Glenn's place, and he has a huge sort of, what would you call it? It's like an industrial sized shed type thing. And we managed to handpick a bunch of songs that we're going to be doing at the Van Halen show for Eddie's birthday. And I will be over the next week or two compiling all the footage that we took. We only really had access for 2 or 3 hours, so it was pretty throw together. But there's a shot, and I can't remember what we were doing at that time. Something.
You look like
I can tell you, because I can tell from the guitar I'm using that it would have been something off the 5150 album. Because that guitar that I've got there is actually a Steinberger with a trans trem. So, which I will be using for a bunch of songs on the second half of the show, which will be interesting. And it was fun. We had a great day. We were only there for a few hours, so it was pretty wham bam. But as the next week or two unfolds, there'll be more promos and stuff going on the socials, and so you'll see all of that. There's a shot of the rig that I'll be using at the Corner Hotel. And there's Jerry's drum kit with the 2 kicks, which is a bit of a new one for Jerry, but that he's loving. And it worked out awesome. As you can tell from looking at those photos, Glenn is an incredible lighting designer. He's got a great eye for flamboyance and color, and we're very, very lucky to have him for the Corner Hotel show. So there's just a couple of snaps from when we were mucking around shooting. So there's Neil Daly's 5150 guitar that he built for me, just casually leaning up against the wet dry wet setup. So
gosh,
yeah, I believe at the corner we might have some issue with the height of the ceiling because the stage is really close to the ceiling. So we may have to put all the Marshall heads off stage somewhere, because I think a lighting truss might have to go across the quad boxes. But But yeah, we had a really fun afternoon, and we got some really cool snippets of stuff that I can't wait to show you guys when I've comped it all together. And yeah, stand by for more bits and pieces. But yeah, it was pretty unplanned. We only had a couple of days to scrap it together, and I was flat sticks in the studio at the time finishing a mix. So yeah, it was a good lesson for what can be done in such a short period of time when you've got such wonderful people around you that are happy to help out. So again, I really do have to shout out to Glenn Falloon of Chrome Productions in Melbourne, because he basically offered us that setup, with a mate's arrangement between me and him, because it was already set up. So yeah, so thanks again, brother. And yeah, stand by for more snippets, because now that I've got all the footage and the audio, it's all up to me in Final Cut to throw it together and come up with some fun-looking snippets.
Oh, awesome, brother. I was so excited when you shared those pics with us. We've got Kurt S, the Rev 5150 in the chat. G'day, brother. Nice to see you. And Chris is saying England awaits. Fair warning. England awaits. So you've got an agent over there preparing, I suppose, or offering maybe to act as a booking agent for you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. We would be very happy to come over to the UK and do some stuff. Absolutely.
Well, Hoss, as much as it excites me to see all that footage, it scares me, because I see how many things I've got to lift.
Well, as most of the people in the chat will know by now, Brad's offered to help me out on the day and the night, and so all those marshals that you saw, I'm going to be busy, doing interviews and stuff, of course, and Brad's going to be carrying all my Brad will be carrying all my stuff while I'm doing more important things. And yeah. No, that's all right, brother. I'll give you a hand too. I'll give you a hand as well. No worries. But yeah, but Brad,
if John's still in here, I think John said that he was going to give him a hand too. I think I don't. Yeah. So
John's going to help as well.
Brad's roping people in.
Brad was just lucky this time around, because it got thrown together so fast that I didn't even have time to drag him into it and get a hand. So he escaped the promo, but he will not escape the show. I love it. Thanks, Tom. Love you, brother. Yeah.
We're really excited for that one, and yeah, as much as I make fun of it, I'm definitely willing to help as much as I can on the night, mate, to make it, and obviously on the 5150 show, we're going to try and really capture little moments and interview you guys and just bring some cool stuff to the show. So we're looking forward to being part of it.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm really happy to do and excited about is that on the way between now and January 25, whenever there's a 5150 show, in my process of putting it all together, so whether it's the rig, whether it's the sound check, whether it's whatever it is, if everyone wants to come on the journey to what the preparation of this show looks like as well, then of course I'm happy for everyone to be a voyeur, and warts and all, even the things that go wrong, whether amps are going to blow up or whether I'm going to hurt my thumb carrying a quad box or whatever. It doesn't matter. I think to bring the 5150 show along on the journey will be an honor.
An honor for you, but sincerely, bro, an honor for us too, because to see how a Van Halen tribute band prepares and gets things going. Obviously, Brad and I know a few secrets about what you guys are working on. You got there's some really for all you tech guys here in the chat. Make sure you hit the notification button, because we've got some tech stuff that's going to freak you guys out in some upcoming shows.
Awesome. Yeah. You guys know the secrets already, but we'll have to unveil them slowly for everybody else. So. John says he will. Good, excellent. And actually, I think did you just put up, Andrew? Chris was asking if it's a wet, dry, wet. Yes, it is, Chris. It'll be a wet, dry, wet setup. And we will definitely do a 5150 show where I will give like a candid look at how I've decided to go about it and what the rig involves. I've done Van Halen stuff in the past where I did it super simple with either the Kemper. I've done it at the Melbourne Guitar Show, but even before that, I did it with just like a plexi and one quad box and a couple of pedals. The good thing about early Van Halen is you can get away with that. You can have a plexi and some pedals and one 412 and it'll be great. But for this one, just for my own nerdiness, I guess I wanted to go down the rabbit hole and really see what I could do with the wet, dry, wet setup. So yeah, I'll show you, Chris, for sure.
The wonderful thing about the Corner Hotel, because I've played there myself, Hoss, is I think the sound will be amazing in there for what you guys are going to do. So we're looking forward to it, mate. It's going to be.
I think it's going to be going to be really good too. So that what you saw with the stage size and the setup in those photos that Andrew put up is actually roughly the same size as the Corner Hotel, which we did deliberately so that the promo for the show will actually look kind of like what the Corner Hotel is going to look like on the night. Now, the Corner Hotel ceiling is lower than what you're looking at right now, so we won't probably be able to have all those light cans quite so far above our head, but instead they'll be nice and low and hot and burning. So, but give or take, the stage will be roughly the same size, even if it's a bit of a different shape, and we'll do our utmost to fit in the most amount of gear that we can. So yeah, it'll be fun.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And Ben Tom was saying he wished he lived geographically closer. Tom, if I had enough frequent flyer points, I would happily fly you over, sir. Unfortunately, with no flying happening in the last 2 years, it's impossible. But if I did, I would. Ben Tom has been awesome ever since from the day that I've met him, and I like to consider him a close friend for sure.
Awesome. Cheers, Johnny Bean. Look, guys, I just want to do one little quick shout out before we start getting into the song list. So on the 19th of December, New Zealand time, the 5150 and the British Electric Blues show is going to have probably 99% put into place. We're going to have our Christmas show, which is we're going to stream for about 6 or 8 hours so people can jump on and jump off. So if anybody's in the chat, the guys from Halenville, if you guys want to come in, I'll send out all these invites. If you want to come in and participate on our Christmas show, which will be Saturday for you guys, you're more than welcome. Anybody here wants a link for that, get in touch with us, myself, Hoss, or Brad, and we'll make sure you get that link. Come in here, be cool, and hang out with us, and we'll just talk about music for 8 hours. Oh, my gosh.
Awesome.
Gonna need lots of coffee. Of coffee, Andrew. Should we get back into these songs?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yes. Nuggets. So
what's next?
I think we should do the 3 songs that were released on the Best of Both Worlds next.
Yep,
they're the ones that I did a bit of homework on as well. But look, these 3 new songs were made with Sammy. Were made for basically to promote the reunion tour with Sammy returning as a lead singer. To my understanding, Michael Anthony didn't play bass on the 3 new songs, but he did provide backing vocals for them. Michael Anthony, at that point, when the songs were recorded, wasn't actually part of the band, from my understanding, but he rejoined for the reunion tour, and Eddie played bass on the songs. Brad Tolinsky from the Eruption book mentioned that Up for Breakfast, Learning to See, and It's About Time is a great example of Eddie Van Halen's talents on rhythm guitar. I was taking his rhythm to new heights later on in his career. And what's really interesting about it, and it may be why those songs were never big or popular, is how the rhythm part is consistently evolving throughout these songs. It's not repetitive in any way. It keeps creating variations upon itself. It's fascinating just to listen to the rhythm playing on those tracks, and Van Halen 3. He really evolved as a rhythm player. So for me, that I needed to read that because it sort of has relevance to how I rank these songs. Okay, because there's catchiness in them, but there's like there's no consistency. It changes a lot. So for me, we'll start with It's About Time. And I have to apologize, guys. I threw a spanner in the works at these two gentlemen that are sharing the screen with me. I forgot to mention It's About Time. So it's both Hoss and Andrew had to do their ranking for this song last minute. So hopefully you guys are okay with that.
Of course.
Yeah, so It's About Time. This was the first of 3 new Van Halen songs that were included on their second greatest hits collection. This basically, Sammy's the singer on this one, and he's making like a cliche sort of lyrical content. It's it's making up for lost time. It's a different sound and vibe in a sense for Van Halen in the intro. Once the verse kicks in, it's reminiscent of other Van Halen songs. There's some really slamming drumming from Alex in this song. I really enjoyed his playing on this. Interesting guitar parts, I thought. I've got to make mention it's the first time in Van Halen history that this song was actually recorded entirely with Pro Tools and not traditional studio recording.
Okay.
And I think, in a sense, you can kind of tell with the recording. Michael Anthony didn't play bass on this. Ed did a great job. Michael Anthony didn't get any songwriting credits for the song either. For me, this song, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, but never a skip. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but there's just something about the 3 songs on this there's some amazing playing and everything and whatnot, but there's just something quite lacking in some department, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I'm not knocking them, guys. I'm it's Van Halen, so I love it and I adore it. But in context of the first 3 or 4 songs we've already ranked, that's where my head was at in this particular moment. So I'll pass it on to Hoss. And do I need to time myself out, Andrew?
No, bro. No, because I think you and I might be on the same plane here. But
Well,
I can't talk for this guy down there.
Well, I think probably it sounds like the 3 of us will be more or less on the same plane. So it'd be very interesting, actually, for anyone in the chat that knows this song really, really well. I don't know it really well, as Brad was saying before. But look, I think it's got a good hooky chorus. There's no doubt about that. Like, it's got a cool vibe about it. The more modern songs where Ed would tune like right down. I don't know if this is just me or whether anyone else feels the same way, but drop D is fine. We're used to that from things like Unchained and different things from back in the day, right? When it goes lower than that, I don't know, for me personally, it just feels really un-Van Halen. And I know that might be like too simplistic a way of looking at it, but that's just me. And I'm not talking about just this song. I'm talking about other things too, like when he tunes way down. And I know that that he used to love all the really modern, heavy guitar players. And as we all know, he was even good friends with some of them. So I actually love that he loved that music. It just doesn't feel like Eddie as much to me. And so like even the way this song starts, how it's so like detuned and stuff, it just doesn't really feel like a Van Halen song. But look, the chorus is great. I think Sammy's singing great. I think it's interesting, Brad, you're saying about Pro Tools. That was the first one they did fully in Pro Tools. I didn't know that. And actually, for whatever it's worth, given that I don't know this song very well, I probably wouldn't have singled it out and picked it based on that. So I don't know if that means anything. But yeah, I think the verses and stuff for me are okay, but I do really like the chorus, so it's a 7 out of 10 for me.
Andrew.
Thank you guys for giving that, because I have to back up what Brad the Backdoor Man said there. You know, we missed that one, but I went and listened to it. Look, and I'm giving my score on the last 3 or 4 hours. So it's an interesting song. It could be a forgettable song. Now I know that we're all Van Halen fans here, and I know that you guys know that we're talking about these songs with care and you know, with closeness, because you know that's why we're here. But it could be a forgettable song. And in contrast to the other songs from that 2004 collection that came out, it's not my favorite one. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's I have to back up with what Hoss said there about these detunings, you know, because he'd been hanging out with oh gosh, who's the guy from Pantera as well? Yeah, you know, so yeah. So Dimebag, that's correct. So he had been listening to, obviously branched out a little bit, you know, so he was obviously reflecting that back or projecting some of that stuff out in some of these songs. It's an interesting song. Van Halen fans have to go and negotiate it. I'm not completely familiar with it either. I can probably say I've only listened to it about 20 times, so it's not carved in my consciousness. But I'm happy to give it that score, guys.
Yep. Agree with all of that, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to sort of touch on similar things to what you said earlier on, Hoss, about Ed's guitar tone on Me Was Magic. For me, the guitar tone on these 3 songs isn't my favorite sound.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's, you know, I don't know. For me, Me Was Magic wasn't too bad in comparison, if that makes sense. But
yeah.
I mean, sorry, I was
going to say, it's fascinating how we all hear it differently, isn't it? And which is why these kind of discussions are so much fun, you know, because these 3 that we're jumping into now, I don't mind his guitar sound. Actually, for me, really, it's only Me Was Magic that I kind of have the issue with. But you're saying that Me Was Magic you don't mind as much, but then, say, for example, this song sticks out more to you. Is that right?
Yeah, look, I agree in a sense with Me Was Magic, because I'm still etched in that carnal knowledge balanced sort of tone in my head, or 1984. So, but I sensed that they were trying to get back to more of a, you know, an older school. I just for some reason it doesn't really hit me where the other tones.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's okay, but it's not one of my favorite tones of Ed's, is what I'm saying. You know?
Great. Totally agree. Yeah.
But yeah, look. So we're up to what are we just did? It's about time. So Up for Breakfast. Look, similar vibes to why this, you know, I personally, when first time I heard this song, I was like, that sort of helicopter thing with the keyboard, or however they've done it, sounds like a helicopter coming over, and it's got a very similar vibe to Why Can't This Be Love sort of intro.
Absolutely. In fact, I'd go so far as to say I'd be very, very surprised if it's not the exact same synthesizer and with the same arpeggiator pattern, because I think that really, to me, it does sound like the template for that. He's just playing different notes, you know?
Yeah. And look, for me, it kind of felt like it was intentional, which is probably a good thing to reconnect, to get, I guess, with the Sammy fans and try and get back that 5150 sort of era of fans back in the band after everything that happened leading up to that.
Yeah.
And so for me, I mean, I love the drumming in this song. There's such a cool swing, and Alex is just the king of swing, man. He's just unbelievable. That pre-chorus is cool. The chorus is very saucy, raunchy, and sexual. It's like, you know, I know that there's misconceptions around like lyrical content from Sammy, but I enjoy when he tries to keep that party vibe there lyrically. And, you know, it's great when he sings a bit serious and has serious lyrical content. I love that as well. Yeah. But it's great to contrast in a record to give some serious stuff and then a fun party-ish sort of song. I really enjoy that, because to me, when I heard this song driving along the other day in my car, I was like, man, I had the window down, my elbow out and driving along, You know, she put the cream in, and I was singing it, you know, like first thing in the morning, you know.
I agree with you 100%, brother. I think that like people sling a lot of mud at Sammy for sometimes his, you know, like that, I guess you'd call it the classic mid 80s or late 80s corporate rock sexual innuendo lyrics. I don't know. Big deal. Like it's just meant to be fun. You know, to me, this song could be a 2.0 for good enough, which was the same thing we was talking about food and whatever else, meaning like double meanings. Well, Up for Breakfast really is the same thing. So if you want, it's like the fun of the good enough lyrics with the keyboard parts and the groove of Why Can't This Be Love. It's like this soup of all these things that were massive ticks of boxes and big hits for them, you know? So I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the lyrics. It's just fun. It's just meant to be fun. People take it too serious now, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is like, you know, I think Peter Thorne said it perfectly. Like there's some Van Halen fans are wonderful, but they're wonderfully weird, you know, at one point, you know, they're just, yeah, anyway. So look, I love the energy of the song. There's some great BVs. Sammy's singing great in this song. Like, I mean, he sung great in It's About Time as well, but I really love singing in this one. I love the solo. I love it. I love the solo in this song from Ed. I love that section. The whole section's like orchestrated really well. Some great playing. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I can hear some real sustainer vibes going on there. Some really beautiful playing, and the outro, you know, screams 5150 time to me. It's like they're trying to recapture like that 5150 album sort of thing for me. And for me, I gave this song a 10 out of 10. I love it. And yeah, I'll hand it over to Hoss. I know, Hoss, you've joined my ranking here.
Sorry, I didn't mean.
I enjoy it. It's good because I kind of bouncing it off. But
I'm hopeless. If I don't say what I say at the second that I think it, I'll forget it forever. And then when you say over to you, Hoss, all those things that I thought of, I won't even remember. And I'll go, no. So sorry about that, brother.
No, I encourage it. It's fine.
So just to quickly reiterate what I was saying before, I think, you know, okay, so the lyrics are like puns and innuendo on the sex versus food. Good. That's what rock and roll always was, you know, and Good Enough opened the 5150 record, and that's what it was. And I love that track, you know. In fact, that's the song that I've decided to open the second half of the show at the Corner Hotel, because why wouldn't you? Like, just change gears and do that. So Up for Breakfast for me is I like it. It's really fun. I think the production and the mix sounds great. I think Sammy's singing great. The guitar solo is really cool. It's pretty hard to fault. So it's an 8.5 from me.
Awesome. Andrew.
Oh, look, I'm glad that you guys mentioned the lyrics, because you've got cherries and bananas on one hand versus 6 on a half shell on the other, you know. So if it was good enough for 5150, it's good enough for me in 2004, guys.
Agree.
You know, it's rock and roll. It's not about growing up. It's about a state of mind, and we got to remember that. So good on Sammy. Look, Hoss has got a lot to answer for here, because I've already mentioned it before. Jerry set a fire on me, so I did a bit of deep diving on these songs especially, and Brad's hinted on it. You know, this song is a very, very good example of a drummer who follows the guitarist, not the bass player. Most bands, as we know, will follow the bass player, but Jerry hinted on this when he was on our show that, you know, one of the great things about Van Halen is that the drummer is following the guitarist. And there's another great rock and roll band called the Rolling Stones, which did the same thing. So it could just about fall apart, but doesn't. So it's behind the beat, and it's just what gives it that excitement that we love. And we get that in the face on this song. Deep grooves by Alex. Those accents before the chorus are amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you got some different sounds on the drums, and apparently they tinkered around on purpose on these drums. And one of the great things about Alex having them set up in 5150 is that they could afford to do that. And you got that bit of reverb there in his drum sound. I love it. I love it. Brad's already mentioned there's no bass by Michael Anthony, which is interesting. when you consider the fact that it's about the Van Halens, well, maybe, but that's a different debate. It's great music. It's a great track. I love it. It's 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah.
It's one of those songs like when I listen to 5150 album, I just picture myself, like it's the record you put on when you're going on a trip, like a coastal road trip or something. You just can't not listen to like Good Enough and Feeling Amazing. And this song has that energy for me. So that's why. But it's great to hear what you guys have to say. So we're up to Learning to See off the same record. For me, I'll say it's an interesting song. Cool intro. The verses seem to be a little bit misplaced. Like they could have almost been another song. And I know I spoke to Hots a bit earlier today and we were just discussing this and I thought, let's not talk about it anymore because we'll save it for the show.
Sure.
But for me, it kind of sounds like it's a bit mismatched together. Maybe the music and the arrangement, like there's some heavy parts and the verses sound like they could be another song to me. Some fantastic guitar playing in it. The orchestrated parts of the song are great. I'm not knocking it, but the middle section of the song sounds like it could have been on Van Halen 3. The solo sounds like another song altogether. It's a bit hit and miss at times for me, but I had to listen to it like, I don't know. I listened to Learning to See the most out of all these tracks this week to try and connect with it like in a way to rank it properly. And the best I could give it would be 7 out of 10. There's some amazing rhythm guitar playing in it, and I really enjoyed all the sustainer guitar parts. For that reason, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Hoss.
Well, oh man, I don't know about up for breakfast. More like I think this one's a bit of a dog's breakfast for me. Yeah, okay. I just find this really disjointed. I find it that it doesn't really have a core to it that most Van Halen songs have. The intro that section to me could be Velvet Revolver. It's got that kind of Scott Weiland kind of Slash vibe to it. And then it goes straight into this verse that's so sweet and melancholy, but yet Sweet Melancholy is wonderful. Some of my favorite songs are ballads, but this Sweet and I don't know, I just don't feel anything emotionally when I listen to that verse, and I feel like that's what they're trying to go for, is to take you on a journey. But to me, I kind of almost lose interest when it goes to that verse. And then the chorus to me sounds kind of like Pearl Jam-ish. And it even sounds to me like Sammy sings a bit like Eddie Vedder in some of the way he phrases the bits in the chorus. So look, maybe no one will agree with me on this stuff, but for me, I just find that each section of the song is too disparate from the others. And this one for me, I hate to say it, boys, is always a skip. So 5.
Ooh. Yeah. I can understand from my point of view. Sorry,
but yeah. Had to happen. Always a skip. Had to happen at some point. Andrew's not looking too happy. Sorry, brother. Oh man. So okay. But Andrew, if you've got a totally different take on it to me, I'm all ears, because maybe you can convince me I'm wrong.
Okay, so I've read a few reviews, and a lot of people have said, I've got it in my notes here, forgettable song.
Right.
And these are by paid hacks who get paid by publishing companies to write hack reviews. So look, I think the song is telling us something that Ed was trying to. It's a what if song. It's a what if song for us. You got 6 different guitar parts, You've got that detuned rhythm going on there. You've got the echo effect. You've got the tremolo effect. You've got the wah wah. And Eddie's consumed by playing guitar at this time in his life. You know, he's spending apparently 18 to 20 hours in the studio, and sleeping at the house, and then for 4 hours and coming back. So he's consumed. He's been consumed by something inside him. And this is a song. I think that reveals something that we can't quite tap into. It's I hate to say this, but I'm here amongst friends. I'm here, it's kind of got this metaphysical feeling for me when I hear this song, and it meant a lot. It meant a lot to Eddie, according to these guys here. Eddie was really, really disappointed that the critics and even the fans weren't digging it. So even Eddie himself was trying to scratch his head, and I'm scratching my head here with my co-host, saying, "Why are you guys doing this?" Oh, look, I'm going to give this a solid 8 because it's one of those what if where could we go songs. It's a signpost. It's tinged with that EVH genius that I love, and it's buried in there, and we've just got to go back and dig it out.
Yep. Good.
Wow. Well, we're I guess in a sense we're probably on the same mindset. It's just interesting to hear that the three of us have got different views on it too. So
I think that's wonderful, by the way. I think this absolutely has to be a forum where like one of us can give a 10 and the other person can give a 2, and then vice versa. And the next song that person gives a 2 and the other person gives a 10. Otherwise, there's no point discussing anything. We just know before the show starts we'll feel the same way.
Yeah.
I think, it's really interesting.
We're all brothers here.
Yeah,
all brothers. And you're right, Andrew. It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Yeah. Well, look, I've saved these 2 songs. This particular song is my favorite out of all the ones that have been released on Greatest Hits and the non-track, like the non-album tracks. Humans being off the Twister soundtrack. Still, with all the backstory of everything that comes behind this song, still when I put that to the side, it's still one of my favorite Sammy Hagar sort of, era songs for Van Halen. I absolutely love this track. It's like a musical journey. It's not necessarily, I don't know. It's just brilliant in every sense of the word. Every time I listen to it, I adore the way the song starts and the lyrical content, the melodies, all the interesting interweaving guitar parts. There's just so much going on. It's like in the same way that Lenny Kravitz used to say when he listened to Machine Gun by Jimi Hendrix, you need to take a nap. You need to take a nap after listening to this song, not in a bad way, because there's so much going on, and it's heavy. Like not heavy as in heavy metal, but there's heavy content. Just the musically, it's such a well orchestrated guitar piece song for me. The background of this song, apparently the song was meant to be entitled "The Hot Zone," and there was no tornado content in the lyrics, so Sammy had to go back and work up a new set of lyrics built around the title.
Right.
Ed came up with the title "Humans Being," and basically the song was contracted for the soundtrack. The band was supposed to have the first half of '96 off. In that time, Eddie Van Halen was going to have some hip surgery. His brother Alex was going to get his neck fixed, and Sammy, his wife, was preparing to give birth to their first child. They were convinced by their manager, Ray Daniels, that this movie was going to be huge and money would carry them for the remainder of 96. And obviously Daniels was right, because Twister made $494 million in the worldwide box office. Yeah. Sammy had written a song called The Silent Extreme, which later renamed Human Beings. There was friction between Sammy and the band. Sammy was in Maui with his pregnant wife, and the others wanted him to fly to the studio to finish a song. Eddie pleaded with Sammy that they needed him only for a minute and a half, the lyrics, and get, Eddie was like, I've got this melody, blah, blah, blah. I hate this, you dirty rat. Sammy goes, that sucks. Sammy eventually came up with this line, there's just enough Christ in me to make me feel almost guilty. So Sammy sang the song in 3 parts in about an hour and a half, and then split. This played a big key role in the end of the relationship between Sammy and the Van Halen brothers. That aside, I have to give this song like a 10 out of 10. It's like, for all the reasons I said at the header of this, I can't go past this song. This is a song I could play to anyone that's never heard Van Halen to knock their socks off.
Yeah,
100%. And it's such a pity that, in context of how this song was done and the backstory, I would have loved to have heard more stuff with Sammy after this, this song. I know we got that on the best of both worlds, but more like this would have been probably some of the best material that Van Halen would have ever done, in my opinion. So 10 out of 10 and never a skip for me.
Well, I got to say, I agree with you on pretty much all those points, Brad. It's a great song. It's definitely one of my favorite songs with Sammy. The riff is tough. It's kind of like, if you took like a really cool AC/DC thing and then turned it up to 11, that bam, 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 bam. I mean, that's almost just, which Van Halen were good at doing, because if you think about it, Best of Both Worlds is almost an AC/DC riff just turned up to 11 as well, and kind of given a more bright chorus, which this song has too. Like you got that kind of minor dun, 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 and then it opens up into the chorus to the Shine On, so it goes major and becomes kind of bright and open and big, which the Van Halens were always awesome at doing, where the verse would be like clamped and tense and bubbling, and then you hit the chorus and you just want to crank it. And this song's just, it's full of angst, and even that one note monotone vocal, the na, 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 it's killer. It's really good. I think like outside of all like the classic Van Halen records that we all know and love, this is one of my favorite Van Halen songs as well, and absolutely gets a 9.5 for me. Killer. Nothing wrong with this song. This is a classic example of how to write a song.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Andrew, my friend Andrew, I'm looking forward to your explanation of this one.
This song broke my heart. It broke my heart, guys, because we didn't know anything about what was happening at the time when the song came out. We were excited, that intro that you guys have just managed to talk about, Brad's background into the song, the politics, the history, the coming backs, the goings, the changing the lyrics. We didn't know any of that when the song came out. It just sounded killer, didn't it? It was just fantastic.
Awesome.
1996, this song came out. Great movie. The video is just fantastic. Sammy's discussion about it in his book is just it's just it's what rock and roll is. You're getting these different versions of this song. It broke my heart, guys, because I'm sorry to beat the same drum, but we were excited. I remember talking to a couple of friends that I was having beers with. We were talking about this song, and what did it mean, Who would have thought that guys can get together, three guys can get together and talk about a song for 4 hours? What does it mean? You know, gosh, we're still doing it, you know, now, today. We've got three guys here talking what the songs mean. Jeepers, things don't change. The song broke my heart, guys, because it was so good and then it just ended. Brad, you've hit the nail on the head. This song is one of the best Sammy era songs. I just love it. We've had Bent in the chat throwing up some of the lyrics. It's just brilliant. You know, it's one of his best lyrical contexts of a song too. You know, Hoss, you mentioned it before. You know, he's singing about cherries and bananas one moment and oysters on the next, and then he's talking about, you know, these big questions.
Something spiritual and soulful. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, you know, gosh, I have to give this a 10 out of 10 too. TJ said it's an 11 out of 10, so we call that a Brad score around here. Anything over
almost a Brad score. I've heard some real Brad scores.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to say, okay, after my 9.5 was a written down 9.5 during the week, okay? But after hearing you two guys talk about it, and just how special and heartbreaking this was all in one, you know, the yin and the yang, everything that was awesome about Van Halen and the heartbreak of Van Halen all in the one ball, I got to give it a 10. I got to join you guys. It's got to be a 10 because it's heartfelt, but it's tough, and it's everything that rock and roll should be, you know, which is tough and aggressive and tough and heartbreaking at the same time. If you can do that in one song, which I think they managed to do, that's 10.
Yeah, I agree.
And I appreciate that, bro, because that's what conversation and discussion's about, isn't it? It's about, you know, presenting something for us to either agree with, disagree, or say get out of here, you know. But what one really interesting thing though about it's not a solo through the song, and this is what I love. It's an instrumental section, you know, and I think that's what I've picked up in some of my research. And when I listen to it again, you know, these Van Halens, they're clever guys, man. You know, it's complete. It's not a guitar solo. Love it.
Look, the thing I highlighted for me was the orchestration of this song, including those guitar parts, the drumming and the guitar solo where he starts to do that off timing with the kick drum. There's just so much about the song. For me, when I first heard this song, that hook, the shine on bit, it's like it gave me goosebumps, and I got emotional just hearing it for the first time. So if a song does that to you, to me, there's power in there. So for me, it's just unbelievable. Then, you know, I played this song recently for my girl, and you know, it's like one of those moments that I've witnessed. I don't think she's ever heard it before, and it was like a journey for her with her eyes closed, listening. You know, so for me, it put me back in that moment the first time I heard it as well. So that's why, I had to give it like the best score I could possibly give it, because it's such a powerful song. And, you know, I know we got a little bit of Sammy after that song, but to me, it's, you know, it's right up there for anything off balance or carnal knowledge, if not probably tips a lot of that for me.
I agree, Brad. That deserves to be, that would have held its place on carnal knowledge or balance or OU812, no problem at all. Would absolutely held its own as a single on one of those records. And Ben Tom was just asking about the bass drum. I don't know, but I'll check it out and I'll let you know. The other thing that I wanted to say about that there's probably nobody in the chat, or maybe even watching this on a replay, that hasn't heard Humans Being. But if for some reason you haven't heard that, I implore you, stick on some headphones. Don't listen to it on your phone or on a laptop or on an iPad. Put on headphones, crank it, and listen to it and read the lyrics while it's happening. And know that's one of the last good things that ever happened, you know? Yeah.
Really good, and I'm so glad that we've finally got to ranking this song, because I listened to Humans being the most out of all these tracks this week, and I'm still probably going to go after we finish and go listen to it again.
Man, I have been during the week. I've just been driving around and having these songs on a playlist in my car. But when this one comes on, that's when I turn it,
Crank it,
up. Yeah.
Where was it? Just before I saw in the chat. I've lost it now. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, Ben, I think it does sound like the triplets on the bass. It sounds like the bass drums. It's like doubles. It's
it probably is kick drum, yeah, but yeah, I'll have a closer listen. Yeah.
But anyway. So we're up to the last song we're going to rank today is Respect the Wind, which is from the same soundtrack. I found this hard to rank for a few reasons, and it's deliberately written for a soundtrack piece. So for me, it's not a Van Halen song, but it's more Ed being an orchestrator, trying to write like a piece or an arrangement or a score for a movie. To me, some beautiful guitar playing at times. Not something I listen to regularly. It's worth listening to. It's fitting for the soundtrack of the movie, and it's very moving. But to me, it just sounds like Ed improvising over a chord arrangement. And I found it hard to rank this, and I'll give it 7 out of 10 just because there's some really nice playing in it, and it is well done, and it sounds beautiful. But in my opinion, it's not really. It wouldn't have fit on a Van Halen record anywhere. It's not necessarily something that I would say is that I'd go play for someone and go, "I'll listen to this song." It's probably deliberately written as a score for a movie. Hoss.
Yeah, I kind of hear it the same way. It definitely, I agree, it wouldn't fit on a Van Halen record. I mean, obviously, they did do some instrumental things like yeah, exactly. So on earlier records, and with Roth, but this is because of that synthesizer part is kind of repetitive, and it's got the arpeggios. But to me, dynamically, like everything's like one volume and one sort of intensity level right from the beginning right to the end. So even though Ed himself will sometimes play a softer note or play like a faster passage or whatever, but those keyboards just never change, and it just sort of feels almost like, you're right, like he's put together the synthesizer bed, which is kind of one dynamic, and then played over the top. So while I don't mind it, like I mean, look, it's Ed improvising over something, and so it sounds great. But I feel like there was an opportunity, even if it's for a soundtrack, there was an opportunity for it to take me on an emotional journey that it just sort of doesn't quite, it just doesn't quite get me there. So for that reason, I'm like you. I'm going to give it like 6 out of 10. I think there's nothing wrong with it. His playing is great. The chord progression is nice, all of that. But I just think with a bit more shaping and a bit more emotional journey, that could have actually been really something beautiful. There's parts of it that actually remind me a little bit of, on Extreme's first record, Nuno does an introduction to a song called Mother, and the intro is just over like synth pads. And I don't know if you guys can recall that, but I mean, it is heart-wrenching, and obviously I'm not trying to really like compare them, because I'm not saying that Ed listened to what Nuno did at the intro to Mother and try and copy it. But there is bits of it like that with the big delay and stuff that really reminds me of Nuno. But I have to say, like when I listen to Nuno do that, if Ed had have done something more like that, I would have been able to give it a 10 out of 10, even though it was a soundtrack piece.
Yeah.
I just think it kind of missed the mark a little bit. And also, one of the things where I probably would have given it a 7, but I had to take a point off because whether Ed meant to do it or not, there's a lot of quoting of, if anyone knows Jeff Beck's instrumental, Because We Ended as Lovers, at the start of that, he does that thing where he goes, and Ed really almost plays that exactly in one whole section of the song. And all I could think of is Jeff Beck's Because We Ended as Lovers. And I thought, come on, man. I understand that Beck would have been an influence, but, Ed's at a level where he is such a pioneer that, to me, that's why I can only give that song a 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Well, I have to agree with you guys. It's no oyster in a shell, is it? And it's no it's no cream on your cherries, is it? It's an interesting song. It's the only song to be credited to Eddie and Alex Van Halen. From my research, you've got Alex playing keyboards and Eddie doing the guitar. It's an adequate song, isn't it? I have to agree with what Brad said too. It's got no place on a Van Halen album in my mind. And I tried to think of that when I was doing my scores, because as Brad said, betcha, that B song that's on Balance. Ethereum is an instrumental. And we tried to do, I try not to do the obvious because, we've been listening to it for 30 odd years. So we say, it deserves to be on there. But gosh, in the context, we are sophisticated Van Halen fans here. So in the context of that album, you can see how that bit fits in there.
Sure.
But this, is disjointed. But, I'm sure the Van Halens would have been happy. They would have had a couple of beers and a couple of ciggies after they did it. They would have been happy with it. And, the bank balance would have been happy with it. And that's great. Making music to get paid is fine, Look, I have to give it a 6 out of 10 too. It's an interesting song, but it's never a skip. As Brad said, you got to go and listen to it. And as Hoss said too, with the other song, Human Beings, if you guys haven't checked these songs out, you to go and listen to them.
Please do.
And if you agree with what we've said here, come back on the video and let us know. If you completely disagree, come back here and add some comments too, because we're always happy to engage with you guys in the chat.
100%. Like if there's a song we've talked about and someone in the chat or on the replay hasn't heard it, throws on the headphones and listens and thinks I'm full of it, good. Tell me why, because I'm happy to look at it from another point of view, always.
You don't say, oh, you guys are stink or it's a stink, because we'll delete that comment. You can't make stink comments. You got to back it up, back your comment up.
Well, you've got it. That's right. It's like what in school, what they would have called a critical analysis. You've got to back up your opinion with some fact, and that's okay. And then if you want to tell me my armpits stink, you can do that. It's all good, And actually, to what you were saying earlier, Andrew, about Sammy's lyrics, and he's been copping some flack the last 12 months online. With Amsterdam and cherries and bananas and US Prime eye fillet steak, grade A stamp guaranteed. But I've just got to say, to just one last time, let's not forget what the term rock and roll even means. What are two people doing together when they're rocking and rolling? That's what it means. So sorry,
And
in the 50s, that's what they meant when they said rock and roll. So sorry, kids.
I firmly believe that Van Halen music's meant to be fun.
Yes.
So it should be taken that way. And if a serious matter's brought up in the context of a song, then that's okay. And it's okay for it to be fun as well. There's no, it's not being disrespectful. As you alluded to, Hoss, like rock and roll's been going since like the 50s, like it's something that's, a term that, music that is fun. It's party time. It's letting your hair down, kicking the heels up and having fun. And now into the rock era, it's just a continuation of that. So, there's too much seriousness in the world these days.
Well,
enjoy it,
Look, there's a lot of great music even that's modern by the younger artists now that are all over FM radio, right? And the top 10 on Spotify. It's all produced by great producers, and you can tell they've got a great team of people around. But honestly, when was the last time you heard anything made in the last 5 years, say, that you would call fun?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at least if you go back a little way in between where like 80s and early 90s fun rock stopped, then you would have bands at least like maybe like Blink-182 and The Offspring and all this kind of thing, where it was like punk pop, but it was definitely fun, and you could tell it was meant to be fun, you know. But I don't know. I mean, I actually really enjoy listening to a lot of new music and by, you know, younger artists and female pop and all that stuff, but it's definitely not fun. Sorry, it might be sexy and it might be all these other things, but most times it can be pretty repetitive, but it's not fun. So, you know, I think we all need to just remember why we loved rock and roll, why it hooked us in as teenagers in the first place, is because it made us want to go out and shake our tushes and dance and drive around in our cars and go and see concerts and hang out with our friends. And it was a celebration of life, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Awesome, bro. I think you've just about done the conclusion for the show.
Sorry, fellas, I didn't do that.
No. We're always keen to share our opinions. You know, we're just fans getting together, aren't we, guys? We're going to keep.
Actually,
yep.
So my T-shirt, Andrew, is something that I saw you did, and that's when I think of Ed. I think of that. That's fun.
Hold on, bro. I'm going to present you. Hold on, people. There he is. E.T. EVH, come home.
It's Ed as E.T. jumping across the moon, and that to me is everything that EVH was.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
And it's a pleasure hanging out with you guys, talking about this music that matters so much to us. It's really, really important, and you know, sharing it with all these cats and kittens in the chat too, hanging out with us. It's even you know, even better sharing it with you guys, because we're humbled by the support. We had 32 people watching us, and you know, the fact that you want to hang out with a couple of Aussies and a Kiwi talking about music is amazing. And we hope that our perspective, you know, because we're down under, is something that's not completely off tangent, off the mark. You know, we're going to have guest hosts on the show. That's the plan for what we want to do. So we've got a couple of guest hosts lined up. So if you guys want to participate, just drop us a line. I have to make it quite clear too, you know, that we're happy to share any social media links. We've had a couple of subs already since the show's been on the YouTube channel. So thank you guys. You guys are awesome. Remember, you guys get an instant sub back. We're not one of these channels that solicits them and doesn't reciprocate. And if you're an Australian, go and see Brad. He'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm going to be out of money soon, mate. You keep telling everyone that, you know, I'm shouting them a beer.
Well, we can't drop that on Hoss because he's only been here for a couple of shows. So you know, between you and him, you guys can share it soon.
All right. Well, for now, I'll share every second beer, and Brad can get every beer, and then at some point we'll swap. How about
that?
You guys are awesome.
Brad, if you could get me another one. This one seems to be empty. That'd be great.
Oh,
hey!
I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to pass it to Hoss and then to Brad to sign off. Thank you guys for hanging out. We're going to be on tomorrow around an hour and a half from this time now with the British Electric Blues Show. We're going to be ranking the tracks of one of Brad's favorite bands, one of Brad's favorite albums. He can talk a little bit about that. Come back and see us. Stay in touch with us on Instagram. You'll keep up to date with what we do here, with what Hoss has got planned. He's not going to reveal all the secrets for the Corner Bar show on Instagram, so you have to be here as well. But Hoss and Brad, thank you, bros. You guys have been awesome. It's been a great show, and I'm going to hand it over to you guys.
No problem. Well, look, yeah, thanks, Andrew. And John, I'm going to hold you to that. You can buy me a beer, that's for sure, mate. No worries. And we don't drink Fosters. We don't drink Fosters.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so. We really appreciate everyone jumping in and joining us here. We're just three guys that love Van Halen, and we're talking about it. We're going to address some other songs. I noticed, I think it was Holly mentioned Catherine, the song Catherine that Ed does. We're going to touch on some other things moving forward. We've got some great shows planned. Hoss is a big part of the what some of the shows that are coming up with his band Fair Warning. So we're honoured and I can't say it any more clearer than that. We're just honoured to have you on, Hoss, and looking forward to sharing more Fair Warning with you, mate, online here.
Well, Brad, the honour and the pleasure is definitely all mine. Thank you for inviting me on and being a part of this little world you've created. I'd also like to say, of course, thanks to anyone watching this on the replay, but extra special thanks to anyone who takes the time on a Saturday to tune in, or a Friday night if you're in other parts of the world, because being a part of the conversation live is for us absolutely the most fun part, and hopefully the most fun part for you guys too, because you get to have your say. And if you disagree with me, then awesome. And if you disagree with Andrew and Brad, not so awesome. No, I'm kidding. But we're not here to say what everyone already knows and thinks. Hopefully that the more discussion from even sometimes when we don't agree on something makes it even more fun. So and Ben Tom, thank you, brother. Legend as always. Andrew, if you don't mind me saying, we were going to talk about this anyway, but since Ben Tom has brought it up, the 5150 guitar is on the operating table right now. Don't worry, nothing too serious, but she's just having a couple of things attended to, but she'll be on the next show for a show and tell, and she might be a bit groggy from the post-op, but she'll be fine. She'll be totally fine. So Tom, 100%, you'll see the 5150 guitar on the next show.
Awesome. Just one thing, guys, before I end the stream. So Chris was talking about the pedal giveaway. So what we decided, Chris, is we're going to give this away on our end of year Christmas show. So it's the Mua pitch box. It's the D-tune box that gives you that balanced Van Halen sound. So we're going to give that away. We're going to have a couple of T-shirts from the Van Halen store that we're going to give away. We want to have a great Christmas show. So, stay with us, and we'll be on the 19th, 8 hours, like the EVH tribute show that we did, so people can come and go. And that's our thanks to for you guys for joining us. So that'll be cool.
And Andrew, if you don't mind, can I drop a bit of a bombshell that just occurred to me this second as you were talking about that pedal giveaway? Can I also offer a pedal giveaway of my own?
Absolutely, brother.
Okay. So this only just popped into my head now. So obviously Andrew, Brad, and myself will figure out some details, because you can't just have this for nothing. Obviously, you'll have to do something or answer a question or whatever that thing is. But I have now a replacement MXR Phase 90 pedal that I'm going to use for the Corner Hotel show. But if the giveaway will be the MXR Phase 90 pedal that I've had since 1995 and that I used on the Melbourne Guitar Show video. So I will happily give that away, and we'll have to, me and you two guys will have to figure out how we're going to do that. But if you think that would be cool for Christmas or whatever, I would love someone to have that as a Christmas present.
Wow. That's so nice, mate. How do I enter? Hoss?
It's all right. I'm already going to give it to you. We'll just make everyone think it's
Yeah, okay. So what we'll do is we'll get together and we'll work out how we're going to do this, because obviously we want to drum up some subscriptions for the giveaways too. So yeah, we'll
Okay,
get,
that's a good idea.
yeah. So we'll get together and we'll have a chat to John ZD351, who is our chief of production with
Chief of operations. That's right.
Yeah. So we've got a team of people we've got to consult with, guys.
Brilliant. Thank you, Holly. Thank you.
Thank you for your generosity, brother. We look forward to it.
No
So
problem.
who's doing the last shout out to anyone in the chat? Who's doing that?
Hoss can do it, but I just wanted to say one thing because I forgot to mention it. Tomorrow's show, we're doing Stormbringer by Deep Purple.
Oh,
so guys, jump on. Yeah,
I suppose to catch up with my parents, but I'm gonna have to blow them out now.
Hoss, I don't know if you're free, but you're welcome to join us if you want to.
No, I've got a family engagement with my parents, brother and sister, but who knows? Maybe I'll just cancel on them.
No problem, brother.
But you know, my last album pick was Burn, and now this one, Stormbringer, is probably right up there with Burn for me. So we're looking forward to this one. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, subscribe, and give us lots of thumbs up and lots of love. I'll hand it over to Hoss to say goodbye to everyone.
You guys don't know. Brad says we're doing this album, and if you guys don't want it, I'm out. So that, you know, we got no choice. Sorry, Hoss.
No, that's okay. Sorry, I'm just I didn't have the chat up, so I've got to pull up everybody. So thank you, Holly. Thank you, TJ. By the way, TJ's another Melbourneite, so of course he's awesome. So thanks, TJ, for joining in the chat, and obviously you and I will be speaking as well. Keith Campbell, thank you, legend. See you for Stormbringer. Leo, thank you. Brent Tom, brother from another mother. We'll talk soon as well. Nelson Rodriguez, thank you, Nelson. Chris Hunter, and we have Eric 814 U2. Yes, Eric, you too. So thank you, Eric. Mikey Mojo. Hey, Mikey. Sorry, I didn't see you in the chat before, brother, but thank you. Who else we got? John ZD, of course, our chief of operations. Helen Winter. We got Helene in there as well. We got Christine Taylor, who was in earlier. And I'm just scrolling up, and I think Ellen, of course. We'd like to also give another massive shout out to Teresa, who's recovering from the car accident. So our thoughts and prayers are with you, Teresa, and also Warren as well. Is that right, Brad?
Yes, that's it, Warren.
Yeah, excellent.
And Teresa.
So Warren, yeah, we're thinking of you too, bro. And that's it. That's the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Eric, thank you for the nice, kind comments, brother. I've been watching your channel for 10 years. If you want to come on, I've been asking you. If you want to come on and hang out and talk EVH with Hoss and Brad and myself, you have a permanent invitation, brother, to hang out with us. We look forward to it. In fact, it'll be a pleasure and an honor for us. So keep that up your sleeve. We're out of here, guys. Keep safe.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
See you guys.
Oh, Lord. Hey, put that beer up and we'll see if we can get a sub from that beer company, eh? Put that beer up. I'll do it again. So we'll send it to them, to their rep. Say, hey, we're looking for sponsors for our show. Be cool, everyone.
There's another.